Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Meredith E. Phillips, and this weekend I'm actually taking a little break from vlogging because I'm not really doing any writing. We'll get into that in a second. But I did have a few little things I wanted to talk about, some things that have been on my mind in terms of the publishing industry, self-doubt, marketability, really light-hearted topics like that. So let's chat. If you've been following along with the vlogs here on my channel, you know that a few weeks ago I finished draft 2 of my current work in progress. It is currently with my critique partners, getting all of their notes and their feedback, etc., etc. And I'm kind of waiting for them to be done with it before I dive into a draft 3. So for the last week and a half, I've really kind of been sitting around with nothing much to do on the writing front. And that can be a good thing. It's good to take breaks, especially it feels natural to take a break like in between drafts, or definitely if you're starting to feel burned out, like take a little break, that's cool. But I'm not really feeling burned out. I still feel like I have a lot of creative energy in me. And so I did take a break for like a couple days, but then I was getting bored. So what's a writer to do but start looking at other projects that she maybe could work on? So real quick, let me give you some titles for things because it's gonna get really confusing otherwise. So I'm currently querying a book that is titled Twice Married. That is also the title for the entire series because I am uncreative and I thought of one decent title and I was like, it's the book title and also the title for the whole series. The book that I'm currently working on, that is currently with the critique partners, we're doing draft 2, draft 3, all that stuff. That one does have a title. I don't like it, so I'm not going to share it here. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to go ahead and call it the Five Guys series. It is completely unrelated to the burger restaurant, but the stories feature 5 friends who are guys, and each book would focus on one of the guys, and so that's what we're calling it. This is also why I would absolutely never self-publish, because I would get frustrated trying to think of an actual title, and so then I would just be like, I'm just gonna call it the Five Guys series, and it would go up like that, and then people would think they were getting a burger romance, and it is not a burger romance. So unfortunately for me, every time I think of a story idea, it quickly spirals into like a series because the main character needs friends, like unless they're living on an isolated island by themselves, like they've got other people around them, and then it's like, well, those people deserve happy endings too. So right now, the story I'm most interested in pursuing is what I consider to be book 2 in that Five Guys series. And I have spent some time this week sort of poking at the idea, jotting down some notes, researching horticulture therapy, all of the normal writer things. But I am struggling with the idea that working on book 2 in a series is probably not the best move for me right now. If Twice Married, the book that I'm currently querying, doesn't go anywhere in terms of getting me an agent, then I do plan to query the book I'm currently working on for Five Guys, probably in like the first quarter of next year. But if that book doesn't go anywhere, I cannot do anything with a book 2 because you can't query book 2 in a series if book 1, the agents were all like, absolutely no thank you. This is the exact same predicament I found myself in last year when I was really interested in working on a book 2 in the Twice Married series. And last year I gave in. That's what I worked on for NaNoWriMo. And I did have a lot of fun with it, but ultimately I abandoned it because I was like, what are you gonna do with this? I could spend time working on it, but if Twice Married doesn't get me an agent, like what am I gonna do with a completed book 2 in a series that hasn't sold? So I really do not want to invest too much time into book 2, right? So as far as I can see, I have 2 options at this point. I can take that book 2 idea and turn it into a standalone. There are ways that I definitely think that could work. Or I need to think of a completely unrelated brand new idea and start pursuing that. I'd really love to come up with a standalone idea, but I don't know if my brain can handle that because like I said, it just starts thinking about all the other characters and then it just goes off the rails. And honestly, I have fun like creating, it's just fun. That's what I want to do. And so my brain is like, how about we just do this? Make it 10 stories. I just need one. All that to say, I have been brainstorming, I've been reading, I've been looking at the books that are out new on the market in terms of traditional publication, because that's what I'm pursuing. I do read a lot of self-pub books and they're fantastic, but there are different markets there in a lot of ways. And it's all kind of led me down, not quite a spiral, but like we're almost spiraling because all these new books coming out and I'm looking at everything and thinking my own thoughts and whatever. Like, I just think, like, are your ideas really anything all that special? Are they really that creative? Are they good enough? Are they fresh enough? Are they clever enough? Are they enough? There are so many hopeful writers out there, some of whom are incredibly talented. And obviously, the agents and publishers in the industry are going to be picking the best of the best, the cream of the crop. They rise to the top. That's who's getting deals, right? That's who's getting signed with agents, because why would they pick somebody who wasn't the best or wasn't like tippy top of the pile? Duh. It's a business. They're gonna pick the people that they think are going to be able to make them some money. So I've been looking at the books coming out in the last year or so, being like, okay, what is special about these books that somebody was like, this one? And a lot of them have really unique hooks, really high concept premises, and it's all just made me turn my eye back to my own work. And I'm just like, is that what's happening in yours? Do you have a really hooky plot, premise, characters, world? Like, what is so good about your stuff? And so I've been trying to push myself a little bit this week to think a little more in terms of like higher concept, to see, can you come up with something like that? Something really hooky, something really marketable. I am not trying to write to market. I wouldn't suggest you try to write to market. I think that could potentially work for self-published authors, just because you can write and churn out books at a much faster pace than traditional publishing does. But in general, I think writing to market, especially for trad pub, is not really the way to go. Of course, when you start thinking in terms of marketability, you start asking the question, am I writing what I want to write, or am I writing what I think will sell? And that's the balance that a lot of artists have to contend with, writers and like just artists in general, right? I think if you create something purely with the market in mind, purely with the intention of making money, is it gonna have like the soul and the depth and the importance, the personal importance that it might have had otherwise? And as an artist, is that gonna make you happy? Is that gonna make you feel fulfilled? Personally, I can't imagine spending years working on something that has no importance to me other than it's gonna make me some money. Like, money's good, let's not lie to ourselves, but I don't know, like, I don't need tons and tons of money. I just need enough to get by. Like, that's really all I'm after here. But if you create something with only yourself in mind, there's a good chance that it won't do anything to earn you anything in the wider world, which could be okay if you're doing things for your own personal satisfaction. That's totally fine. You can absolutely do that. But a lot of writers and a lot of artists want that balance. They want something that has depth and importance to you personally, and they also would love for it to support them financially or have an impact on other people. So as a writer who does want to sell books eventually, I do need to think somewhat in terms of marketability, which brings me right back around to the whole self-doubt over whether or not my book ideas are actually good enough to do anything on the market. And I don't know if they are or not. Honestly, like, I just don't know. I don't know. I'm too close to it to be able to be like, yeah, they're definitely super unique and amazing. Or if they're just sort of like the same old, you know? I don't consider myself a baby writer or like a new writer anymore. I've been doing this for over 8 years now. So I do think I have some experience. I obviously don't have like decades of experience. I don't think I know everything. I still have a ton to learn. So I don't know, maybe at this point my ideas are still kind of small or reductive or unimaginative or just not as creative as the industry is looking for. I do know that I am having a lot of fun. I really enjoy creating the worlds and the characters and coming up with the plot lines and talking with other writers and just interacting and being a part of this community. So I am going to keep going even if my confidence in myself is like, you know, a little bit shaky sometimes. So let me know what you think. Do you struggle with the idea of marketability, or like the balance between doing what you really love and want to do versus is it going to do anything for you financially? Do you feel really confident in your ideas, or do you struggle like feeling like, maybe they're not anything all that special? And what is your ultimate goal? I think that's the thing that is really going to guide you. Do you want to sell your stuff? That's going to push you in one direction, or are you just cool letting it be its own thing, having a good time for yourself? That's going to push you in another direction potentially. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, you can click the subscribe button. I post videos on Fridays. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye. I'm gonna be messing with my hair this entire time. Oh my gosh, just put it behind your ear, Meredith, and just let it go. Okay. Why don't you just read your script? You wrote this whole thing, just read it.